Hi, I'm Judy Parks from ChocolateBakery.com. Today we're going to learn how to make a pumpkin cheesecake, which is a great holiday dessert, great for Thanksgiving, great for Christmas and other holidays. And I will show you how to make it in a regular cake pan rather than having to go out and buy any special equipment for a cheesecake. We will start with a graham cracker crust, which is ground graham crackers and a little bit of sugar and some melted butter that is put into the bottom of the pan with a piece of parchment paper. If you don't like graham crackers, you can use Gingersnaps or vanilla wafers or any other kind of cookie that you like. We're going to pat the crust down and then actually press it down as hard as you can with, I'm using a measure cup here, just get it pressed in hard, like so, and then it will go into the oven for 350 degrees for about 8 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, it will be nice and firm and it will allow you to cut your cake nicely and serve nice pieces that don't crumble on you. We will start with 2 pounds of cream cheese. My personal preference is Philadelphia cream cheese. It makes a great cheesecake. We're going to start with room temperature cream cheese. That will help prevent lumps in your cheesecake batter. When we mix this, we're going to use a low speed. Blend the cream cheese, soften it a little bit, and then we will add sugar. We have a half a cup of white granulated sugar and a cup of brown sugar. When you measure your brown sugar, the instructions always say in a recipe to pack your brown sugar. When you pack the sugar, when you take it out of the measure cup, it should hold its shape. That tells you that you have the right amount of sugar in your cup. We'll add brown sugar to this. It will give us more of that holiday flavor that you get with brown sugar. We'll blend the sugars with the cream cheese. Stop the mixer once or twice and scrape. It's real important to scrape your cream cheese. That will prevent lumps in your batter. So at this point we'll stop. We'll scrape real well, get the cream cheese off of the paddle, scrape up from the bottom of the bowl. And then we will continue mixing. And when it looks like your cream cheese has softened a bit and the sugar has blended in, then we will begin adding our other ingredients. We will add some spice. What I'm using in this cheesecake is ginger, nutmeg, and cinnamon, and you can adjust those spices to your own taste. If you like more cinnamon, feel free to add more cinnamon. And then we will add a little bit of vanilla, a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. A substitute for vanilla that is good would be maple extract or maple syrup. Give you nice flavor. And we'll stop this again, give it a real good scrape, and then we will begin adding our eggs. When you're mixing your cheesecake, it's important that you keep your mixer on low to a low medium speed so that you don't whip a lot of air into your batter. If you whip too much air into your batter, when your batter goes into the oven, that air expands, it causes your cheesecake to rise up, but there's not a lot of structure to hold your cheesecake up high. It will fall back down and crack. It's one of the main reasons of cracking cheesecakes. Now we're going to add 5 eggs, and when you crack your eggs, break them up with a fork or a whisk so that when you add these eggs, you're adding them in stages, about 1 at a time. If you break up the eggs with a fork, it will prevent too many eggs from falling in at once. As you add the egg, you want to watch your cheesecake batter in here and make sure the cream cheese has absorbed each egg before you add another egg. If you add too much egg at once and you don't allow the cheesecake a chance to absorb that egg, that will contribute to lumpy batter. Once we get all the eggs in, then we will stop and give another really good scrape. We will add a little bit of flour. The flour is merely a binder. It will help absorb any moisture that you might find in the pumpkin that also could cause your cheesecake to crack if you have too much moisture in your cheesecake batter. We're going to stop and give this another scrape. We'll add the last of the egg. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of flour. And then very slowly we will blend in 1/3 of a cup of cream. And here again, you don't want to add the cream too quickly. You want the cream cheese to absorb the cream and help prevent lumping. Now we will add a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. I use Libby pumpkin. It's a nice consistent product. We're going to add the pumpkin about 1/4 cup at a time. There again, give that mixture a chance to blend thoroughly. And then once the pumpkin is completely blended, it will only take about 30 seconds. Your mixture is done. Then we will pour this into our pre-baked crust, and we will bake it in the oven. We're going to bake at 350 degrees, and we will be baking in a water bath. The water bath will help keep the temperature even surrounding your cheesecake. The temperature will be even enough that that also will prevent cracking. And what you'll find if you have too hot of an oven temperature is that cheesecakes will tend to crack with hot, dry heat. So to create a water bath, you want a pan that is just a little bit larger than your cheesecake pan. Something like another cake pan like this would work, or even a cookie sheet that has some sides to it like this. We need water about 1 inch up the side of the pan. So we're going to use a larger cake pan. We'll pour water in about halfway up our cheesecake, put it in the oven 350 degrees for approximately an hour. When your cake is done, we will have what we call a firm jiggle. When you test the top, touch the top with your fingers, and you should have just a firm jiggle, not a soft jiggle. That will tell you that your cheesecake is done. After your cake is baked, you need to cool it at room temperature and then refrigerate it overnight before you unmold it. To easily unmold it, we're going to warm the bottom over a stovetop or a burner. Warm this until it is just barely hot to the touch. And then with a dull knife, run your knife around the sides of the cheesecake to loosen the sides. We're going to invert onto a plate, or I have a plastic wrapped piece of cardboard. And then we will invert onto our serving plate, like so. For our final step with the pumpkin cheesecake, we're going to garnish it with whipped cream. And we're bagging our whipped cream out of a pastry bag, just with a star tip around the border. And a final touch, we'll shake a little bit of cinnamon on the top. And there you have it. Great for Thanksgiving or any other family gathering. Pumpkin cheesecake for those cheesecake lovers and your pumpkin pie lovers.